Good evening, East Alabama. This is the Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. We welcome you in on this Monday afternoon. It is officially a new week here on East Alabama Now, but we have a great week for you guys as always to kind of go ahead and give you guys an idea of what to expect this week. Today, we're going to take a look at the playoff action from this weekend for baseball, look at area tournaments for softball, and we're going to recap track and field as well. We're going to talk about all of the sectional results for our local East Alabama teams and look at who qualified for the state track tournament this weekend. That is today's show. Tomorrow we have a great show for you guys as well. You'll hear from Oxford head baseball coach Travis Jensen. You'll hear from Alexandria head baseball coach Zach Welch. You'll hear from Westbrook Christian head coach Jerry Wendell and Coosa Christian head coach Dwayne Boyd. So that'll be tomorrow on the Locker Room as we recap all four of their second round matchups, preview their quarterfinal matchups for this week. Wednesday, you will have highlights of the Donahoe Falcons girls soccer team. They host the first round of the state playoffs tomorrow at home against Altamont. We'll have highlights of that game on Wednesday. Also have some youth baseball highlights on Wednesday. Thursday. Now, the Alabama High School Athletic Association has moved Alexandria and Sardis's third round state quarterfinals game to Wednesday night. So I will be driving to Sardis Wednesday night to cover that game. So Thursday, you'll see highlights of Alexandria and Sardis in the third round of the state playoffs. Two of the top teams in the state of Alabama going head-to-head. We'll have highlights of that game, both of them, on Thursday. And then Friday, we will be talking Weaver Bearcat track and field with head coach Bo Wynn and be talking with some of their state qualifiers as the state tournament gets rolling. So as you can tell, we have a very busy week this week. I'm going to be out at Donahoe tomorrow night. I'm going to be up at Sardis on Wednesday. So definitely going to be getting the miles in this week for sure, trying to bring you guys the most up-to-date local content here in East Alabama. Hey, I want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page so that you don't miss the Locker Room. We're here every weekday, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Also tonight, we have our East Alabama Now news at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards have your local news. John Holder has your local weather, and I bring you your local sports. Hey, we start our show every day, except for Thursday, with our EAN scoreboard. Today, we're going to get right into the action. Let's take a look at the two playoff games that took place on Friday involving East Alabama teams. Let's start with Coach Travis Jensen's Oxford Yellow Jackets. They made the trip to Buckhorn to face Buckhorn in the second round of the state playoffs. Kanan Whitman got the win out of relief for Oxford in Game 1. Gavin Griner worked the relief for him. Forrest Heacock hit a grand slam in Game 2. And Coach Jansen's going to be talking more about that offense. He's going to be talking more about the multitude of pitchers on our EAN News tonight at 6:30 p.m. So you can get more on that tonight. Carter Johnson came in and finished off game number 1. And game 2, again, was Whitman. He was a sophomore, took the mound after Buckhorn tied the game with a 4-run fourth inning. That was in game 1. Whitman came in, got the win out of relief. Griner came in game 2. So it was a multitude of pitchers that helped Oxford get the series win over Buckhorn. If they win Game 1 7-4, Game 2 7-3, they will host Mountain Brook this week on the campus of Oxford as Oxford gets the win in round 2. Let's move forward and let's talk about Southside. They played close against Springville. This game went to extra innings in the first one, but ultimately Springville would get the win in 4-2 in Game 1. And then Game 2, Southside kind of played ahead, came behind, but could not get enough. Coach Shane Chappell's team had already played Springville twice this season, lost to them both times. They go 0-4 against Springville this season as Springville gets the win 4-2 and 10-9 as Springville advances to the third round of the state playoffs where they will now play Russellville. Winner of that could play Alexandria or Sardis in the state semifinals. All right, let's keep moving forward. Let's talk softball. And we're not going to talk about all the different games that took place in terms of the area tournament. We're just going to get straight to where things stand as of right now. As of right now, Piedmont and Weaver played, and the winner goes to the finale. Loser drops to the consolation bracket. Coach Rachel Smith's Piedmont Bulldogs got the win over Weaver 1-0. Savannah Smith threw a gem. Savannah Smith only gave up 4 hits, had 10 strikeouts. Kinley Fulmer only gave up 3 hits and had 4 strikeouts. It was a pitcher's duel. But Smith's RBI single is what plated Caleb Brothers in the first inning, and that would be the only run that Piedmont scored. Piedmont did, though, get a double from Amaya Thomas. For Weaver, Sydney Bitzer was 2 for 4 with a double. Casey Brothers had a big game against Sachs, but it was Piedmont. Pitchers duel, Savannah Smith and Kinley Fulmer. Piedmont gets revenge on their loss they took against Weaver. Weaver plays Welborn today. The winner of that will play Piedmont tonight in the area championship game. Also this weekend, Oxford. They got to host the tournament, but Pell City wins the area for a second year in a row. And guys, it was Pell City. We said it. I mean, they came in. Chocolaca Park got the win over Oxford in the first game. They played in the area championship. Pell City took the win again this time. Jackson got the win, struck out 8 batters, only allowing 4 hits in 4 innings. Sanders and Mooney did have a single and RBI against Pell City. Timms, Becerra, and Crossley each had a single and a run. But ultimately, Pell City is the area champions. Both these teams make it to regionals, but Pell City wins the area tournament 7-3. Also this weekend, Coach Kendall Poe's team fell to Glencoe in the first night, came back and faced them in an elimination game, fell to them again. So Ohatchee's season comes to an end. Glencoe beats them twice. They beat them 12-11 in the second game. As Glencoe advances to regionals, they'll play Hoax Bluff for the area championship as Ohatchee's season comes to an end. Also this weekend, it was an elimination game between JCA and Faith Christian. It would be JCA that would end Faith Christian's season. So JCA got the win 12-2. They advance, and now they're in another elimination game trying to get to an area championship game. Spring Garden, the favorite in that area right now, but JCA would end Faith Christian's season as Jacksonville Christian Academy Thunder get the win 12-2. Looking at soccer action from this weekend, it was senior night for White Plains as they hosted Talladega. The girls got a win 5-4 over Talladega, and the seniors for White Plains included Molly Harry, Evelyn Rosas, Emma Smith, and Isabella Weber. And Lorelei McKenzie scored 4 goals for White Plains, and they got one from Selma Pascal. Gabby Castillo had an assist. Lou Hawbaker had 6 saves as White Plains girls got the win on senior night over Talladega 5-4. In the boys game, they celebrated seniors Luis Landa, Ketcher Jenkins, Brandon Mendoza, Hugo Mondragon, and Glaymar Perez. And Glaymar Perez scored 2 goals, and White Plains got 1 goal apiece from Jenkins and Mendoza. Mondragon had 10 saves, as it was White Plains boys getting the win on senior night over Talladega 4-0. That pretty much covers all the action from Friday and this past weekend. Area tournaments for softball do continue tonight. Some are starting tonight. For instance, Alexandria, they're celebrating senior night tonight as they open their area tournament up. You've also got White Plains, Jacksonville, Cleveland County, Anniston. That area tournament starts up tonight. But all of these area tournaments have to be completed by Wednesday and have those results into the state because regionals start next week. Regionals start on Monday, and I believe every team in this area that makes it to regionals will be playing in Albertville. Matter of fact, you will not see me in studio Friday. Friday we'll be talking Weaver Bearcat track and field, previewing the state tournament. Next week, you'll see me in Albertville all week long. I will be in Albertville Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If the Donahoe Falcons girls soccer team makes it to the state tournament, then I'll go from Albertville to Huntsville later on in the week to cover them. So you will not see me in studio next week. Now, if Alexandria baseball does make the state semifinals, which means they'd have to beat Sardis this week, they would host either Russellville or Springville, and that would be at home on Tuesday. So I'll go to Albertville. If Alexandria makes the semifinals, I'll work in Albertville Tuesday morning, come back Tuesday night, cover Alexandria, go back to Albertville. It could be a very busy week next week, needless to say, but we're doing it unlike anyone else, having the most up-to-date highlights for you guys. Hey, today we've got a lot of graphics. We're going to talk about every local East Alabama track and field runner or participant in the field events that found themselves qualifying for the state tournament. We had sectionals this past weekend in Fort Payne, Lincoln, and Hewitt-Trussville. We're going to come back and talk about 1A, 2A, and 3A. In our third segment, we're going to talk about 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A as we continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy. I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, or luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston. You can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do it right there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Welborn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond. And now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you the locker room. We continue on this Monday afternoon. I'm Namath Pitts. Speaking of Ted's Floors and Beyond, we are proud to have them as our presenting sponsor, but there are also other opportunities available for you local businesses out there. So maybe you're saying, well, I'm trying to figure out where to spend my money, where to invest it at. Well, why would you not want to invest it with a group of people that are putting forth their best effort to bring you the most local, not national. We're not doing no SEC. We don't want to talk with people from Alabama and Auburn and all that stuff. You can go to ESPN to get that. But we're talking local sports right here in East Alabama. Youth sports as well. If you're a business and you're saying, hey, that's the type of place that I want to spend my money, well, I got to tell you, Lisa Freeman, our salesperson, does a fabulous job. Get in contact with her and she can talk to you more about how to join our team here on East Alabama. Now, hey, let's talk about the track and field results from sectionals this past weekend. We're going to start in Class 1A and take a look at Faith Christian. Faith Christian finished top 3, by the way, in the boys' action in their sectionals this past weekend. But here are all of the Faith Christian track and field athletes who clinched a spot in the state tournament. Now, in order to make the state tournament, you had to finish 1 through 5 in your event in the finals, or you had to be one wild card. Now, everybody that I have on this list finished 1 through 5, so I don't have the wild cards. But looking at Faith Christian, Vincent Montgomery qualified for 3 events for the state tournament. He qualified in the 100-meter run, the 200-meter run, and the 400-meter run. Brady Whitworth qualified for 3 events, the 200-meter and the 400-meter run, and he also qualified for the long jump. Jack Strotman, he qualified for 2 events, the 100-meter and the pole vault. Mason Blackstone qualified for 3 events, the 110-meter hurdles, the 300-meter hurdles, and the javelin. And then Ethan Taft qualified for 2 events, the 110-meter hurdles, and the discus throw. We have more boys as well. Couldn't fit all of them on one graphic. Faith Christian had a lot of state qualifiers. Cameron Rogers qualified in the 800-meter run, the 1,600-meter run, and the 3,200-meter run. By the way, that's 1 mile, 2 mile, and then 2 laps, so half of a mile right there for Cameron Rogers. Then their 4x100, 4x400, and 4x800-meter relay teams, all 3 of them qualified for the state tournament. So that is how the Faith Christian boys did at sectionals. Speaking of Faith Christian, looking at their ladies, they only had 1 girl that qualified for the state tournament, but Ann Claire Mitchell, how about this? She qualified for 3 events. Hey, our East Alabama Ted's Floors and Beyond studios right here out of Parker Memorial Church. I know Ann Claire Mitchell is a faithful member of Parker Memorial, does their Parker News. So congratulations to her on qualifying for the state tournament in the 800 meter, the 1600 meter, and the 3200 meter, as she is headed to the state tournament this weekend up in, I believe that is Coleman. All right, let's take a look at Donahoe sticking in Class 1A. They had 2 boy qualifiers. Hunter Hartwell qualified for 3 events, the 800 meter, the 1600 meter, and the 3200 meter. And then Riley Goodson qualified for the 1600 meter and the 3200 meter. That's the 1 mile and the 2 mile. That is the only 2 state qualifiers for the Donahoe boys. For the Donahoe girls, though, yep, you see it right here. There's the state qualifiers right there. Say qualified in the 100 meter and the 200 meter. You had Weston in the 100 meter hurdles, the 300 meter hurdles. Estella Cannell, she qualified for 4 events, the discus throw, the high jump, the long jump, and the triple jump. So she qualified for 4 events right there. And then Nora Gibson qualified in the long jump, and their 4x100 meter relay qualified as well. Let's move to Class 2A and talk about the Pleasant Valley boys. Braxton Williams qualified in the 400 meter. Clark Hill qualified for 3 events, the 110 meter hurdles, the 300 meter hurdles, and the pole vault. Cooper May qualified in the pole vault, and their 4x800 meter relay team qualified as well. Looking at the girls, they only had 1 girl, but she was named the most valuable player at Fort Payne in their Class 2A girls. She qualified in the 400 meter, the 800 meter, the 300 meter hurdle, and the long jump. And guys, she didn't just qualify, but Ella Paris finished at the top in almost all of these events, as she was named the most outstanding athlete at the 2A girls sectional up in Fort Payne. Ella Paris qualifies for the state tournament in 4 events. Let's move to 3A. Also up at Fort Payne, Colby Hester from Ohatchee qualified in the high jump and the pole vault. Ethan Wiggins qualified in the pole vault. Luke Vinson qualified in the discus and shot put, and Quinn Nunnally qualified in the discus. Looking at the ladies for Ohatchee, their 4x100 meter relay team, and Ellie Weiss in the discus. Those were the only 2 that qualified in the girls for Ohatchee. Looking at Piedmont, they had a lot. Chase Cardelli qualified in the 400 meter and the 800 meter. John David Taylor qualified in the 800 meter. Chase Haynes qualified in the 300 meter hurdles. Caleb Tidwell, he qualified in the javelin. Demetrius Owen qualified in the long jump. Sam Tolbert qualified in the shot put. And then the 4x400 meter relay and the 4x800 meter relay teams both qualified for the state tournament. Looking at the ladies for Piedmont, Claudia Dempsey qualified in the 400 meter and the 800 meter. Maddie Todd qualified in the 1 mile and the 2 mile. That's the 1600 meter and the 3200 meter. Katie Brown qualified in the 300 meter hurdles in the high jump. Lexi Ray qualified in the pole vault. Grace Egan qualified in the shot put. And then how about this? 4x100, 4x400, and 4x800. All 3 meter relay teams qualified for the Piedmont girls. All right, let's look at SAC staying in 3A. Ja'Cory Avery qualified in the 100 meter. Christian Hall qualified in the long jump. Mario Curry qualified in the 400 meter. DeLandis Allen qualified for the javelin. Gianni Harris qualified in the 400 meter. Arnez Hurd qualified in the long jump. Demarion Slocum qualified in the 110 meter hurdles, and both their 4x1 and 4x400 meter relay teams qualified for the state tournament. Looking at the girls, Miss Madden qualified in the 100 meter. Their 4x100 meter relay team qualified. Miss English qualified in the 100 meter and the 200 meter. Miss Hughley qualified in the 200 meter. Their 4x400 meter relay team qualified. Miss Garcia qualified in the 800 meter, and Miss Turner qualified in the shot put for the Sacs girls. All right, the final team we're going to talk about this segment, the Walter Wellborn Panthers, their boys. Running back, Jabari Williams qualified in the 100 meter. Then their 4x100 and 4x400 meter relay teams both qualified for the state tournament. And then for their girls, they had 2 qualifiers. On the girls' side, it was Destiny Griffey in the discus and Calla Hayes in the javelin. So those 2 qualify for the state tournament in the girls for Wellborn. All right, that is a lot of names right there we just threw at you, but that is everybody that is qualified up to this point. But we did not mention probably the team that had the best outing in Class 3A, and that's the Weaver Bearcats. We're going to talk more about Bo Wynn's team in just a minute as we continue on the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Can I help make pancakes, Dad?
Of course, buddy.
I absolutely love these cabinets we have here in our showroom. And as much as you like these right here, the options on this kitchen over here, I think you're going to... For real, Randall?
I love this kitchen.
Let's do a kitchen makeover in your home.
Fair enough.
Seriously, guys?
We made you one.
Okay. We ought to do this more often.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Welcome back into the Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. I want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page. Our East Alabama Now news is coming up in just a little bit. We will have more on the Alexandria Valley Cubs and the Oxford Yellow Jackets baseball teams advancing to the state quarterfinals. Hey, before the break, we were talking about sectionals for track and field. The state tournament is this weekend. The lower division schools, or lower classification, I should say, will be at Coleman, while the higher classification teams will be down in Gulf Shores. So those are this weekend. Let's get back into our action, though. A team that did really well at sectionals was the Weaver Bearcats. They had a lot of state qualifiers. Keyshawn Allen qualified in the 100-meter, the 110-meter hurdles, and the 300-meter hurdles. Caden Gooden qualified in the 100-meter, the 200-meter, and the 300-meter hurdles. Harper Williams qualified in the 200-meter, 100-meter hurdles, and 300-meter hurdles. Lorenzo Blake qualified in the 200-meter and the triple jump. Cade Hunter qualified in the 3,200-meter, which is the 2-mile. Gianluca Torres qualified in the triple jump. And then Adris Naira qualified in the 1,600-meter, which is the 1 mile. DJ Marbury qualified in the 110-meter hurdles and the long jump. And then their 4x100 and 4x800-meter relay teams both qualified for the state tournament. Looking at the Weaver ladies, Jaylee Carter qualified in the 100-meter and the high jump. Melanie Robbins qualified in the 400-meter. Lena Johansson qualified in the 300-meter hurdles. And Emery Greer qualified in the high jump. All right, let's move forward. Look at Anniston, the Anniston boys. You see Jacob right there qualified in the 110-meter hurdles. Kedrick qualified in the 200-meter and the 400-meter. Elijah qualified in the 300-meter hurdles. Jaden qualified in the 400-meter. Quintavious qualified in the 800-meter. Their 4x100-meter relay and the 4x400-meter relay both qualified. Also Moore as well for Anniston. Those weren't their only qualifiers. Jaden, you see right there in the 800-meter, Jaden Thornton. Rodriguez Burnett in the long jump and triple jump. Zadarian Harbor in the pole vault. Their 4x800-meter relay. Jaden Hurd in the 400-meter. Jeremiah Williams in the triple jump. Let me get this right. Sharante Bailey in the shot put. There we go. Took me a second. And Jare Gutierrez in the pole vault. So those are the Anniston boys state qualifiers for track and field. Looking at the girls, Christiana Reed in the 100-meter and 200-meter. Liberty Lewis in the 200-meter and 400-meter. And then their 4x100-meter relay team and their 4x400-meter relay team both qualified for the state tournament. Staying in 4A, looking at Jacksville, Xavier English in the 200-meter. Tashawn Cameron in the 300-meter hurdles and the 400-meter. Quinn Weaver in the 1,600-meter, which is the 1 mile. Braden Ball in the discus. Aaron Nixon in the high jump. And their 4x100-meter relay and 4x400-meter relay both qualified for the state tournament. Looking at the Jacksville girls, J.C. Taylor qualified for the 100-meter and the 200-meter. Also, by the way, the 4x800-meter relay team. Nevaeh Nicholson qualified in the 300-meter hurdle. Emma Easterling qualified in the 1,600-meter and the 3,200-meter, which are the 1 mile and 2 mile. Kelsey Sigler qualified in the long jump. And Milani Carter qualified in the shot put. Looking at White Plains, Rodney Peary in the high jump and their 4x800-meter relay. Those were the only 2 qualifiers for the White Plains boys. Looking at the White Plains girls, you had Madden Khan. She qualified for the 800-meter, 1,600-meter, and 3,200-meter. Corliss Garcia qualified for the 800-meter and the 1,600-meter. Abby Dickinson qualified for the 800-meter. Malaya Hill qualified for the pole vault. Callie Sprayberry qualified for the pole vault, and their 4x800 meter relay team qualified for the state tournament. So that is the White Plains girls. Let's move forward to 5A Alexandria boys. DeMarcus Williams qualified in the 110 meter hurdle. Caleb McCain qualified for the discus. Jalen Henderson qualified for the high jump. Gavin Sweet qualified for the shot put, and their 4x400 meter relay team qualified for the state tournament. Also for the girls for Alexandria, Anna Beth Stewart qualified for 4 events: the 100 meter hurdle, the discus throw, the high jump, and the triple jump. Denasia Woods qualified for the discus. Tayasha Hunt qualified for the discus and the shot put. Denver Browning qualified for the pole vault. There you go, Denver. And the 4x800 meter relay team qualified for the state tournament for Alexandria. And the final team from sectionals, they were at Hewitt-Trussville. That is the Oxford Yale Jackets in Class 6A. LaTravion Figures qualified in the 100 meter. Cedric Twyman qualified in the 100 meter and the 200 meter. Antonio Hicks qualified in the 100 meter and the 200 meter. Christian Gibson qualified in the 110 meter hurdles. Damius Wilson qualified in the 400 meters. Case Payne qualified in the 1600 meter, which is the 1 mile. Christian Gibson qualified for the triple jump. And then they had all 3 relays: 4x100 meter relay, 4x400 meter relay, and the 4x800 meter relay. They all qualified for the state track meet, which will be down in Gulf Shores. For the girls, Jeremiah Wall qualified for the 100 meter hurdles and the 300 meter hurdles. Senyaka Darling qualified for the discus. Alexis Johnson qualified for the high jump. Gabrielle Lindsay qualified for the javelin, and their 4x400 and 4x800 meter relays both qualified for the state track meet. State track meets start up this weekend. They will be 1A through 4A, I believe, will be at Coleman. For some reason, Scottsboro was messing me up, but it's Coleman. They'll be at Coleman. And then I believe it is 5A, 6A, and 7A will be down at Gulf Shores. It could be 1A through 5A is in Coleman, and 6A, 7A are down in Gulf Shores. But I know Oxford's in Gulf Shores for sure. And the smaller schools, Donahoe, Faith Christian, Wellborn, Pleasant Valley, Ohatchee, Piedmont, Weaver, Sykes, all of them will be at Coleman. And again, the state track meets this weekend. So a couple days, certainly take some sunscreen. Try to stay clear of the rain this weekend. We'll see if that plays a factor. Of course, John Holder can tell you more about that tonight on our East Alabama Now News at 6:30 p.m. Speaking of, that's going to do it for me on the locker room. I got to get into our newsroom, talk a little Alexandria baseball. By the way, happy birthday to head coach Zach Welch of the Alexandria Valley Cubs. And then we'll also be talking with Travis Jansen tonight on East Alabama Now News. So I'm Namath Pitts. Thank you for watching the locker room. Hope you have a great Monday afternoon. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more on the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.